So welcome to Hampton Mansion. This was the home of 6 generations of the Ridgely family from the time it was completed in 1790 until the last Ridgleys moved out in 1948. This is an exquisite example of Georgian architecture. The footprint of the house has not changed since it was completed in 1790, and it's chock-a-block full of this one-family stuff that they've accumulated over this period of time. Between 1810 and 1815, Governor Ridgely undertook a program of renovating and redecorating in the house. He had this wall put up to create a butler's pantry. The purpose of that was to actually keep the enslaved people out of the main body of the house when he was entertaining. Overhead, you'll see a set of 11 bells. This is the call system throughout the house. There's a grate down in this recess, so you could put a pot down in there, making it kind of like a crock pot from 1790, or you could put the grate on top and cook on top, which was quite an ergonomic advance because it meant that the primarily women that were working in this kitchen didn't have to constantly bend over an open hearth. The way this works is, again, wood put in here, fire it up, and then at the end they would gather the ash from the bottom, and then they use the ash to make soap. I challenge any of you that tell me how many sticks of wood you put in here and for how long do you burn it. 1790 toaster is right down there. So you could put your slices of bread in here and then put it right by the hearth and then, turn it actually turns. So you can turn your toast when it's ready. Any questions about this room? This is the parlor. This represents 1790 to 1810. This is the least formal room in the house. This room was basically a family room. So this is the dining room. This represents 1810 to 1830, so during the governor's ownership of the house. You can see the door to the left of the fireplace, which was put in by the governor, that accesses the butler's pantry behind. This represents 1830 to 1860, so this is during John and Eliza's ownership. The table under the chandelier is insured for $1 million. The sofa with the swans for handles, which I think looks remarkably uncomfortable, is insured for $2 million. Music room. This represents 1870 to 1890. This room is kind of a catch-all, and again, 1870 to 1890, their wealth has hit its peak, and it's going to start declining. So there's not a lot of discretionary spending represented in this room. The newest item is the piano in that corner that was purchased by Margareta when she returned from Rome with the kids. Make ice cream. They had ice. They had ice all year round. There were 3 ice houses, one of which is still out in front of the house. It's a big mound of grass. It looks kind of weird out in front of the big fancy house. But the way the ice house worked is it's a large shaft that goes down into the ground, and during the winter they would cut big slabs of ice, put them down in there, layer them with straw for insulation, and that way they actually had ice all through the summertime. And they could use it for rudimentary refrigeration. They also used it to make ice cream. The white building that you passed on the way to the mansion is called the Orangery. That is a 1979 reproduction of the original Orangery, which was actually built in the late 18 teens. They kept citrus trees in there, so they had citrus all through the winter, which is something that was only available to the very, very wealthy.
Did you notice the trap door behind the outhouse?
Across Hampton Lane is a little white farmhouse. That was where the Ridgeleys had originally lived. They built that in 1745, and the last Ridgeleys that lived in this house moved back across the street into that house in 1948.
This farmhouse was occupied by the overseer after the Ridgeleys moved into the mansion in 1790. The slave quarters are adjacent to the overseer's house. The peculiar system of slavery allowed the Ridgeleys to generate a lot of wealth.
And by 1762, they had already acquired quite a bit of wealth. But then in 1762, they acquired an ironworks about a mile north of here under what is now Loch Raven Reservoir. And it was the ironworks that was the source of their huge income and their huge wealth. Now, it is very important to remember that the acquisition of that wealth, the building of this house, the maintenance of this house, would have been impossible without the forced unpaid labor of other people. The workforce at the iron works was a combination of indentured servants, primarily from England and Ireland, some convict laborers, during the Revolutionary War, some British prisoners of war, but primarily enslaved African Americans, and it was really horrific work.
After slavery ended, the slave quarters became the homes of the tenant farmers. This ash house was used to make lye. The lye was used to make soap. Dairy products were made in this creamery.